Deshaun Watson was asked about that, his struggles in the passing game and also the lack of playing time in the preseason for Watson.
It's just getting comfortable with this system. It's a totally different system. Just finding ways to, get back on track when things are not going our way. Learning Kevin, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to run the ball. We're going to be a quick game. Are we going to get it empty? Are we going to do a little bit, zone read, keepers? What are we going to do to get back on track and things like that? So, just being able to do that. The other night, the first play was, tip ball and pick six, and then I think the next 5 plays were completions, and then it just kind of trickled there, and then it was like a little lull in the middle of the game where we kind of went, I think, 6 straight or something like that with incompletions. They did a good job on defense of covering the spots, and then we picked back up those completions. So, it's part of the game. And you just pick up the pieces and you watch the tape and see which ways where you can keep getting those completions, but that's pretty much it. I can sit here and say that it's a lot, but I'm not going to sit up here and tell you guys that's the reason why. It's just, part of the game and how the game flows. So I'm not going to use preseason as an excuse to sit up here and say that, we got to continue to find our rhythm and things like that. I'm not going to make no excuses for myself or anybody. We got to, make sure we start fast and play better.
Brett, I guess the question becomes why? What is the reason for the struggles?
I guess my thinking is that the game hasn't really slowed down for him again, Dave. Like, it appears that for whatever reason he is having an issue trusting his eyes or processing what he's seeing down the field. Because in the game, when he's not getting pressure, and that's not helping, right? Like, the offensive line not being able to protect well is not helping, certainly. But when he does have time and he does get to the top of his drop, the ball's not coming out on time. It's hesitant, right? And then you go to, the people that evaluate the All-22 this week, there were guys open, right? Like, it's very reminiscent, eerily, of Baker Mayfield, right? A couple years ago, like, why won't he throw it from the top of his drop when there's an open receiver? It's trusting your eyes. It's getting back into this. And I think, how rookies talk about how the moment the game slows down for them and it starts to click, and it just appears to me that maybe that moment after 700 days off hasn't happened yet, and it's taking a lot longer than we initially expected it to.
So what do you do in the interim? How do you get him into a rhythm where you can have an effective offense?
It's a great question, right? They're getting paid a lot of money to try to answer that question this week. So that is the question. So I think that I would try to get him easy stuff early. I know they attempted that last week to great failure, right? Now, why you run that with your tight end 3 and how you're not on the same page when that's been the play for 3 days is beyond me. But I won't go back to that game that I'm sure you've been through that all week. I think you've got to get him some easy stuff. There's surely a confidence factor here, right? Like, I think that's one of the equations that is affecting him is his confidence, is trusting what he sees and trusting his arm and all those things. And so I think if you can try to scheme up some easy underneath stuff that gets him in a rhythm, then maybe you start to see tangible progress. I mean, that's all. I don't expect him to do it. It sometimes it feels like he's trying to get it all back in one throw, right? Like all of it back, like everything back in one throw. And that's a lot of pressure to try to operate under. So piece by piece, easy throws, easy completions, get him in a rhythm. Listen, this defense is very good against the run. They're going to make him beat you this week. So you better have a plan to do it. I hope Stefanski has it figured out. I guess, what version of the offense do we see this week? No Nick Chubb. You've had a short week to prepare. That's kind of the ultimate question. I'll be very interested to see if we see the shotgun heavy stuff that we expected to see, or if we're still seeing 13 personnel and him turning his back to the defense play action stuff that we've seen for years.